everyone, welcome to the section on generating true or false questions. If you've seen middle school textbooks, at the end of every chapter you would see true or false questions like this. For example, a sentence like this is given where the Nile River begins near the equator in Africa and flows north to the Atlantic Ocean. Then you would be asked to mark whether the statement is true or false. In this section we will see how we can generate these type of questions automatically using natural language processing algorithms. So what's the practical use case for building such kind of system? So if you take any digital textbook platforms or even publishers like McGraw-Hill or Pearson or test prep companies or tutoring chains, they all create these kind of questions at scale. And if we can build an automated system where they can just put in a chapter and get these true or false questions automatically, then we reduce their workload and provide automation. So this kind of system is very useful to generate large quantity of questions in a short span of time. Someone can review these generated questions and accept them into the system or not. Let's see some ways to generate a true sentence. So if you have seen, maybe in the chapter there might be a complex sentence or compound sentence like this one. He wiped off the water and turned the boat upside down. And sometimes you can just cut short the sentence into a simpler one. He turned the boat upside down, and you can give this as a true sentence. Similarly, consider another statement. Subject pronouns which can be found only in the beginning of the sentence and have no bearing on the word order are used to replace nouns. Again, you can just cut short the sentence and rewrite it as subject pronouns are used to replace nouns by just taking the beginning and end of the sentence. So here we are splitting a complex sentence or compound sentence into a simple one. This is how we can generate a true sentence from a given statement. So one way to generate the true sentence is give the sentence as it is, but sometimes that might be very long and we want to shorten the sentence. So we can shorten the complex or compound sentence into a simpler one like this, and we can give this as the true statement. Now let's see how we can generate a false statement from a given sentence. So this can be given as false question. So add or remove negation of a verb phrase or a noun phrase. So verb phrase means combination of words along with the main verb, and similarly noun phrase means combination of words along with a central noun. So let's take this sentence. The amount of matter in a chemical reaction doesn't change. Here doesn't change is the verb phrase. So if we negate that verb phrase and rewrite it as changes, then we get a falsified sentence. So this sentence is a falsified sentence to this one. Similarly, grasshoppers can fly is a true statement, and replacing that with grasshoppers cannot fly, we generate a falsified sentence to this one. Here again we are changing the verb phrase, we are negating the verb phrase here. Europeans have set foot on the American continent prior to Columbus' arrival in 1492. Here we are changing the noun phrase by adding no. So no Europeans have set foot on the American continent prior to Columbus' arrival. So this is negation of noun phrase, and we are generating a falsified sentence. The second way to generate a falsified sentence is actually change the named entity. So named entity here could mean some year or person name or place, location or time, things like that. So you identify a named entity and you change it. So here, let's say the original sentence is the Declaration of Independence was signed in 1776. You are replacing named entity, that is year here, with something else and falsifying the sentence. Similarly, we have the statement Augustus was the first Roman emperor. We are changing the named entity Augustus to Nero, and now we get a falsified sentence. Going further, the third way to falsify a sentence is change the adjective. So let's take this statement. The scariest villain of all time is Darth Vader. Now you can change the adjective scariest to an opposite one. Now it becomes the softest villain of all time is Darth Vader. Now you have a falsified sentence. Similarly, changing adjectives, Tom was huge and angry. We are changing it to Tom was tiny and scared, and this becomes a false statement. Looking at the fourth way to falsify a sentence, that is changing the main verb. Let's say the original sentence is when electrons are shared between two atoms, a covalent bond is formed. Now we are identifying the main verb shared and replacing it with alternate or opposite verbs. When electrons are transferred between two atoms, a covalent bond is formed. Here we are falsifying the sentence by changing the main verb. The fifth way is to actually replace the original verb phrase or noun phrase with an alternate one. Let's see the sentence here. Aunt Avanti was sitting in an armchair watching the rain-washed trees and blue sky. Here you are identifying a verb phrase or noun phrase and completely replacing it with a new one. Aunt Avanti was sitting on the sofa watching television. So here the falsified sentence is generated by completely changing the verb phrase or noun phrase. And in our lecture we will take this approach where we'll generate falsified sentence from a true sentence by replacing with an alternate verb phrase or noun phrase. We'll see that in the next section. Thanks for watching. Welcome back. In this section we will see how we can generate a falsified sentence from a given true sentence by replacing with an alternate verb phrase or noun phrase. And we will achieve this automatically using natural language processing algorithms. Let's assume we have a sentence like this. The old woman was sitting under a tree and sipping coffee. Here the noun phrase is sipping coffee. So we will use constituency parsing techniques to understand the sentence and find the ending noun phrase or verb phrase, and we will split the sentence to not contain the ending noun phrase or verb phrase, and we will give that split sentence to OpenAI GPT-2 algorithm that is trained for text generation, and it will take this initial input from us and generate an alternate sentence like this one. The old woman was sitting under a tree and looking around at the bushes. Now we will use constituency parsing as well as OpenAI text generation to generate this alternate sentence that could be used as false sentence. Now a note on constituency parsing. So constituency parsing is the task of breaking a text into its subphrases or constituents. So a sentence is comprised grammatically with several things like nouns, verbs, adjectives and things like that. So constituency parsing helps us to understand and break down the sentence into all its grammatical constituents. Then we can use our algorithms to split the sentence at the ending noun phrase or verb phrase. and do our text generation accordingly. Now here the non-terminals in the parse tree are types of phrases. The terminals are words in the sentence. So I'll explain that. So if you see in the parse tree, all these are non-terminals where you have types of phrases like verb phrases, noun phrases. And if you expand them further, only at the end you will see that the terminals are words of the sentence. We'll quickly see this. So you can go to this link demo.allen-nlp constituency parsing, and you can place any sentence here and click on run. You can see that the sentence is split into main, noun phrase and verb phrase, and you can further split each of them, and you can further split each of them till the end to see all its constituents. As discussed previously, the terminals are the words, and anything in the middle will be its constituents like noun phrases or verb phrases, etc. You can read more about constituency parsing here, and this is also a neural model that is trained. So we will be using Allen NLP parser to take any sentence and split it at the ending verb phrase or noun phrase and generate alternate endings. Now if you are curious about what these different kind of terms, verb phrase VP, NP or VBD, CC, VBG, all these things stand for, please go to this link here and you will be able to see the definitions of each of these. So if you go to the link provided, you will see all the expansions of what each one means. NN means singular noun and NNP means proper noun, NNS means plural noun, and again you have VBD, which is past tense verb, VBN is past participle, and all these things. So looking at the same sentence again, the old woman was sitting under a tree and sipping coffee. This is how the constituency parsing tree looks like. So you can see that the ending noun phrase is coffee and ending verb phrase is this whole thing combined, sipping coffee. Or if you take the alternative, then the first verb phrase could be the whole thing here, which is was sitting under a tree and sipping coffee. So you can split however you want, either at the first verb phrase, then you get only the old woman, or if you split it at the ending verb phrase, then you get the old woman was sitting under a tree. And so you can give either of these sentences, the old woman or the full sentence up until and, to the text generation algorithm, that is OpenAI GPT-2, and let it fill the remaining. Now moving on to understanding GPT-2 just a little bit. So OpenAI GPT-2 is a text generation algorithm where you can give an input text and it can generate a paragraph or long form text from that input. GPT-2 is a transformer based language model that is trained to predict the next word. So here transformer algorithms are a set of algorithms in natural language processing which are sequence to sequence algorithms where you give any input sequence, any input text sequence, and it is trained to generate an output text sequence. For example, language translation, that is you translate a given sentence in English to, let's say, a sentence in Spanish. That is also a sequence to sequence algorithm where you take in certain input text that is in English and you generate another sequence of text as output in Spanish. How GPT-2 is trained is that we give a certain input text, let's say the old woman, and we train the algorithm to predict the next word, which is was, and again you give the sentence the old woman was, and you train the algorithm to predict sitting, Similarly, you give the old man was sitting and you train the algorithm to predict under. So it is trained to predict the next word, and once that is done, you can give any sentence like this and it can keep generating next words and you can fill up a sentence like this. So you can give any partial sentence like this that is split using constituency parser to our OpenAI GPT-2 algorithm, and it can generate alternate sentences like this, where the old man was sitting under a tree and reading book and looking at the bushes, etc. And if you want to know more about the GPT-2 algorithm, you can look at this link here. Jay Alamar perfectly explains with nice illustrations how GPT-2 algorithm works. And transformer based algorithms, like I mentioned, are very popular algorithms that are used for all these kind of sequence to sequence tasks like language translation, text generation, or summarization, where you take long text and you summarize them into just few words. Welcome back. In this section, we will go through the code to generate falsified sentence from a given true sentence. So this section is divided into 3 parts. In the first part, we will see how we can split a sentence at ending noun phrase or verb phrase. Then in the second part, we will see how we can give that split sentence to OpenAI GPT-2 algorithm and generate complete sentence with alternate ending. And in the third part, I'll give you an assignment and we'll go through the assignment to filter these sentences in the order of their similarity using BERT. Let's get started. Before you click on connect, make sure that the runtime is set to GPU, because in the section of OpenAI GPT-2, we'll be using GPU to generate those sentences. Once you're connected, let's run this cell. Here we are installing Allen NLP and Spacy. We will be using Allen NLP for constituency parsing. In this cell, we are actually downloading the constituency parsing model from Allen NLP and loading it as in the predictor object. Now that we are done with the installations and also downloading the model and all the imports, let's get started with the actual code. So in this section, our goal is to take a sentence like this: the old man was sitting under a tree and sipping coffee, and split this sentence at the ending noun phrase or verb phrase and get the split sentence. So first I have this sentence in this variable. I'm just removing any ending periods or question marks. I'm passing this sentence into our predictor function of Allen NLP, and we print the parser output here. So this is how the output looks like. It's quite long, and in the end you will see this trees key that is of more relevance to us. So let's just identify and get only the tree string. If you see, this is of most importance to us, where we have our sentence and we have identified all its constituents, and now we'll take this string and convert it into an NLTK tree object so we can do further processing. So if you see, I took this tree string that you have here and I converted it into a tree object. Now I'm doing a pretty print function on the tree object so that we can see all the constituencies in a clean manner. As you can see, this is how our tree object looks like, and doing pretty print on that, this is how it looks like. So the sentence, the old man was sitting under a tree and sipping coffee, this is actually in a form of a tree where you have top level sentence, and under that you have first noun phrase, the old man, and you have the whole verb phrase, which is was sitting under a tree and sipping coffee. and in that verb phrase again you have subverb phrases, and if you go to the ending verb phrase, which is sipping coffee, this is of importance to us, and we want to split our sentence at the ending verb phrase. If you visually see this, you want to split at the ending verb phrase, which is just remove sipping coffee and get back the whole sentence, the old man was sitting under a tree. This is what we are going to do in code in the next section. If you are unsure about what these VBG, NP, DT, all these things stand for, what these constituencies of a word are, you can go through these links that I have provided here, where you can understand syntactic parsing and its constituents in detail. Now here I want to demonstrate how the tree is organized. If you look at the tree, the whole tree is printed here, and the tree is organized such that it's a nested list. So within the tree, if you just take the first element, you get back this thing. So if you just print out tree of 0th element, which is temp1, you get back this tree, the old man, and the first element is this thing. If you print out the first element, you get back just this, which is the subtree under here, and the first element is also the ending element, because here -1 means the last element. So under the whole tree, the first element is this thing, and the second element or the last element is this thing. So here 1 and -1, both temp2 and temp3 will get us back only this tree. Why I am emphasizing this is that later on you will see that S has many sub branches underneath it, and what's important for us is the final element, that is -1th element, because we are going to take that and find the last verb phrase or noun phrase in that. Now in this section, we are going to take the whole tree that we constructed previously, and we are going to get the rightmost verb phrase or noun phrase of that sentence. Let's run this cell and we'll go through it in detail. So the original sentence is the old woman was sitting under a tree, and we have extracted that the last noun phrase is this and the last verb phrase is this. So this is not something new, which is pretty much the last noun phrase is NP, NN and coffee that you see here, and the last verb phrase is this whole thing, VP, VBG, sipping and NP, NN, coffee. This whole thing is the verb phrase, which is sipping coffee. That is what we see here. So let's see how we have done this. So this is the whole tree. As I've mentioned, this is index 0 and this is index 1, and this is in a form of a tree object where you have 0th node and first node. So you can consider this tree as a tree object that has multiple nodes underneath it. So it is not always a binary tree, depending on how the constituency of our sentence is. It could be an n node tree underneath. I'm passing tree to this function get rightmost verb phrase or noun phrase. So what's happening here is that this is a recursive function where we will recursively go through the rightmost branch of the tree and record the last encountered noun phrase or verb phrase. So let's see how this works. In the initial call, we get this whole parse tree, and we are initializing our noun phrase and verb phrase as none. If we reach the leaf nodes of the tree, we are going to return our noun phrase or verb phrase. If not, we are going to get our last subtree, which is parse tree -1, because every time we are going to get the last subtree. For example, if this is the tree given, this whole thing VP, which contains was sitting under a tree, is the rightmost subtree, which is indicated with -1 index. Iteratively, I go through the rightmost element, which is sitting under a tree, and again rightmost element, which is sipping coffee, and we store the last encountered verb phrase or noun phrase. This is exactly what is happening here, where we iteratively go through the rightmost subtree, and if that subtree label is noun phrase, we are going to store that is in last noun phrase, and if that subtree label is verb phrase, we are going to store that in last verb phrase. And again, whatever subtree we got, we are going to pass that subtree recursively again, because we want to find the last encountered noun phrase or verb phrase. So recursively you go through the rightmost subtree and you record the last encountered noun phrase or verb phrase. So here in this diagram, you recursively go through the rightmost subtree and you record the last encountered noun phrase, which is coffee, and last encountered verb phrase, which is sipping coffee. So that is how we get our last encountered noun phrase and verb phrase as trees. Now there is one more function which is get flattened that I have written, where you take in something like this, a tree object, and flatten it to get back this thing. So this is pretty much, we iterate through the tree object and we just collect all the leaves and just join all the leaves into a string and return back that string. So with that we get back our string last noun phrase as coffee and last verb phrase as sipping coffee. Now we have just one more function that we need to do. Now that we identified sipping coffee is our last verb phrase, we need to just remove the last verb phrase or last noun phrase from the original sentence and get back the split sentence. For us, we need to identify what's the biggest one in last noun phrase and verb phrase combined. What I mean by that is we need to identify whether verb phrase sipping coffee is the biggest or coffee is the biggest, because it doesn't make sense for us to get both splits. We want to just identify which is the biggest, which is the longest phrase in these two things, and only give that to our split function. So here what we are doing is we are getting the longest phrase that we want to use, which is the verb phrase here. And one thing to note that is in our tree function, if we have angle brackets like these in the string, then we are not actually going to get back those angle brackets as it is, but we get back its notation like dash LRB dash and dash RRB dash for right angle bracket. So we are going to actually replace that string. If the string has something like this, we are going to replace that with left angle bracket. If the string has something like this, we are going to replace that with right angle bracket. So these two lines are just doing that. Let's run this function before we analyze further. From this line we identify the longest phrase to use, which is sipping coffee. Now the original sentence is the old woman was sitting under a tree and sipping coffee. Our goal is to just remove this ending phrase sipping coffee from here. So if it's just a string matching function, I could only match sipping coffee with this string original sentence and remove to get the split sentence. But we have a problem here. No matter whether we have 4 or 5 spaces in the original sentence between sipping and coffee or one space, we are going to get back with only one space here. So we don't have an exact correlation between ending phrase here and original sentence. So instead of doing exact match, because we are not preserving exact spaces, I wrote a small function where we can iteratively go through and return only the substring that is of use to us. How this function works is that we get the main string, that is the original sentence, and the substring. So the main string is the old woman was sitting under a tree and the substring is sipping coffee. And iteratively what I do is I remove all the spaces and form this, the old woman was sitting under a tree and sipping coffee, and I remove the spaces here and keep sipping coffee here. And I see if these two are similar. If not, I remove the first word and keep old woman was sitting under a tree and sipping coffee. compare these two things. If not, again I removed two words and combine the rest of the things. I iteratively go through that like this, and in the end, and once there is a match, I return the remaining string. That is exactly what is being done in this function, where I iteratively remove one word from the main string and compare it with the substring, and only when the main string and substring matches, then I return the remaining as the split sentence. The reason why we are doing this is because the spaces are not preserved once we construct this tree and get back the string from the tree. So since the spaces are not preserved, the only way for us is to remove those spaces and iteratively compare, and once we have a match, then we know where we need to split the sentence. Now we'll see one more example in the next section. For this section, we have achieved our task where we had the original sentence like this, we split it at the ending noun phrase or verb phrase, and we got back the split sentence. This is all we wanted to achieve in this section, and we did. Thanks for watching. See you in the next section. Welcome back. In this section, we will go through one more example to reinforce our understanding. Let's take this sentence. They had no ice cream left at home, nor did they have money to go to the store. Again, I'm just splitting the sentence at the end to remove any of the question marks, things like that. Again, I am passing the sentence through our Allen NLP predictor.predict function. I extract only the trees part from it. I convert the tree string that we get back into a tree object of NLTK, and I print the tree object. If you see, this is how the tree looks like, where the top root node has 4 different nodes underneath it, where the first node is a sentence. They had no ice cream left at home. Then there is a node for comma. Then there is another node for nor. And the fourth node is this, where you have did they have money to go to the store. As I mentioned previously, sometimes you don't have 2 nodes like a binary tree. Here you have multiple nodes. If you have multiple nodes and you want to get the rightmost noun phrase or verb phrase, you have to get only the branch that is rightmost and parse through that. That is why we have -1 index. Every time we get only the rightmost parse tree and iterate through that. If you look at this tree, the rightmost noun phrase is the store. The rightmost verb phrase is go to the store, because it is the whole thing under this verb phrase. If you don't understand what these terms like S bar, VBD, PRP, etc. stand for, you can also look at this link that is here. Now just for a change, in the rightmost branch, instead of going for the ending noun phrase and ending verb phrase, let's go for the first verb phrase and first noun phrase. So the first verb phrase will give us the whole thing, have money to go to the store, and first noun phrase gives us money to go to the store. Just for a change, in the following code, we'll find the first verb phrase and the first noun phrase and extract these things. The reason why I am showing you the split at first noun phrase and first verb phrase is, once you understand the code, you can split either at the first noun phrase or verb phrase, or at the end noun phrase or verb phrase, or any other way that you want in the future if you have some other logic. So here we are splitting at the first verb phrase or noun phrase. Just like previously, we get our tree and pass it to this function. So this is the whole tree that we have seen above. Again, we extract the rightmost branch, and in that branch we capture the first noun phrase here and first verb phrase here, and also the first sentence S that we get in the rightmost branch. If we run this, we can see this. The first noun phrase is money to go to the store. The first verb phrase is have money to go to the store, and the first sentence is to go to the store. Let's see this. So as you can see, the first sub-sentence that we have S here, that's why we got to go to the store as the sub-sentence. And the first noun phrase is money to go to the store, and the first verb phrase is have money to go to the store, as we have seen below. Now again we are going to use the previous function where we want to get the biggest phrase among this, which is the verb phrase here, and then remove that from the original sentence and get the split sentence. As you can see, the original sentence is this. We split it at the end and removed money to go to the store, and we get back this. Now you can give this partial sentence to our GPT-2 algorithm and generate alternate sentences that have different verb phrases and noun phrases. We'll see that in the next section. Thank you. Welcome back. In this section, we will see how we can use OpenAI GPT-2 to take a partial sentence and generate alternate endings for that partial sentence. First, we'll install a library called Transformers. So Transformers is a state-of-the-art natural language processing library by a company called as Hugging Face. Here we are importing the GPT-2 language model as well as tokenizer, and we are initializing the GPT-2 tokenizer and GPT-2 model in here. Let's run this. So what's happening here is that the GPT-2 model is being downloaded here. If you want to use a model that is lighter with slight compromise on accuracy of the model, you can comment the current lines and uncomment the upper lines to use Distill GPT-2, that is the distilled version of GPT-2 model. So here tokenizer means how you split the sentence. So in a basic form, we can split the sentence by just spaces, and if you want to do advanced subword splitting, you can use any of the tokenizers. GPT-2 uses a tokenizer that does advanced splitting by even splitting on subwords. And here we are going to give our partial sentence. The old woman was sitting under a tree and we are going to generate sentences with alternating endings. In this line, we are using the tokenizer to encode our partial sentence. So if you see the output, each of the word refers to a fixed token in the GPT-2 vocabulary when it is trained. Sometimes one word could be split into multiple tokens as well. So all we are doing here is taking this sentence and giving it to our GPT-2 tokenizer. So the tokenizer internally converts it into a vector of fixed vocabulary. Now this is the main function that we are going to use to generate alternate sentences. What this function does is that it calls the generate function of our GPT-2 model, where the input IDs are given. So our sentence is converted into input IDs like I mentioned here, and those input IDs are given here. And we are saying that the maximum length of the output should be 40 more than our original sentence. And here top P and top K stands for the variety in the output that GPT-2 generates. So if you give this sentence like the old woman was sitting under a tree and dash to a person, then they'll come up with several kinds of words that they can fill in that fits the sentence, right? So similarly, GPT-2 can come up with, let's say, hundreds of words that can fill in that blank. But we are asking GPT-2 to take only the top 30 words and ignore the rest. And again for that blank, it could come up with several hundreds of words, and among those, each of the word will have probability, because some words will occur with high probability and some will occur with low probability. So we are asking GPT-2 to keep only the top 80% probability words among them. Here we are asking GPT-2 to generate 10 alternate sentences. Let's run this. Let's print all those alternate sentences here. As you can see, the GPT-2 took our partial sentence and generated almost 10 alternate sentences. For example, the old woman was sitting under a tree and had been just picked up by the birds when they came to pick her. The old woman was sitting under a tree and her hand came to rest on the ground. She sat back as if she had been in pain and have been falling over. So one thing is that once the GPT-2 generates some long paragraph, again we want to split that long paragraph into sentences and keep only the first sentence. So we are going to use NLTK. So I uncommented this line and have new line here where we are using sentence tokenizer from NLTK and split this paragraph into sentences and keep only the first sentence, that is the 0th index. If I run now, you can see that I have split the paragraph into just first sentence, and you can see these are the 10 alternate sentences generated by GPT-2. If you look in this code, again when GPT-2 generates something, GPT-2 takes input as our partial sentence, something like this, and generates output that is again in these numbers. Just like we encoded, we also need to decode the output that is also again in numbers. We need to decode that into a regular sentence. That is what we are doing here in this line. In the next section, we will see how we can sort these 10 sentences in the order of similarity. I'll just give you a small assignment and give you hints at doing that, and later on we will see how we can do the same thing in code. Thanks for watching. Welcome back. In the previous section you have seen how you can use GPT-2 to generate all these kind of alternate sentences just starting from a split sentence like this. Now we have one problem. Let's say if we generate 10 sentences, we want to automatically identify the most dissimilar sentences to the original sentence, so they can be used as false statements. So if there is any way to sort all the 10 generated sentences in the order of their dissimilarity, then it is ideal for us to just pick one or two top dissimilar sentences and use them as falsified sentences. So here in this case, probably sipping coffee and sipping tea are very close, so we cannot call this as falsified sentence to this sentence. But rather, if you give a sentence like this where looking around the bushes, then this is quite different from this sentence, so this can be used as falsified sentence. So I want to give you a short assignment where perhaps you don't need to even code, but come up with a way to sort these sentences in the order of their dissimilarity. So few hints are that you can use sentence embedding algorithms where you can convert the whole sentence into a vector of fixed size, and you can compare each vector from our 10 generated sentences to the original vector and find some similarity, and based on the similarity score you can sort the sentences. So I would encourage you to think about it and come up with some algorithm. So check out Sentence Transformers library, look at this link sbud.net and check out Sentence Transformers library and think about a way how you can achieve this and sort sentences by their similarity. We'll see how to achieve this in code in the next section. Thanks for watching. Welcome back. In this section we will see how we can use sentence transformers to sort the generated sentences by GPT-2 in the order of similarity to the original sentence. I hope as part of the assignment you have had a chance to look at sentence transformers library and come up with some solutions. First, we'll install the sentence transformers library. Once installed, you probably need to restart the runtime, so just click on restart runtime. So sentence transformers is a library that provides state-of-the-art embeddings for a given sentence using most recent transformer models. So here in these two lines, we are importing the sentence transformer library and we are initializing our sentence transformer with Distilbert tokens. So the library will download all the necessary token embeddings. Now that we have all the things set up, let's look into the code. So these are some of the possible false sentences generated by GPT-2. So I added a few more that are closer to our original sentence. So the sentence, our original sentence was old man was sitting under a tree and sipping coffee. So I added a sentence drinking tea and gulping cocktail, just as random sentences in the middle along with the sentences generated from the model as well. So remember that these are not exactly the same as previous ones because I just took some independent sentences by another GPT-2 model and I added them here. So this is just for demonstration. So our goal is, if this is the original sentence, how can we find sentences that are very different from the original sentence so we can give them as possible false sentences? So our assumption is, if we just sort these sentences by their similarity, drinking tea and gulping cocktail come at the top, and our goal is to find the most dissimilar sentences so that we can use them as possible false sentences. Let's run this. So next what we are going to do is, we need to convert each sentence into an embedding of fixed size. So we downloaded our Distilbert model and we are going to use the Distilbert model to convert each of these sentences into a vector. So here I'm converting all the possible false sentences into their vectors in one single go, giving them as list. Here I am only converting the original sentence into its embedding. So now that we have the embeddings, our goal is to find the cosine distance. So cosine distance is a similarity metric. So we can use our original sentence and compare it with all our false sentences to find the similarity between original sentence and each of the false sentences. As you can see, these are all the distances that we calculated, the cosine distances. You can look at this link to understand the cosine distance metric from SciPy in more detail. Now our goal is just to sort these values in the order and extract the corresponding sentences. Here in this first line, I am just collecting all the sentence indexes 0 to the length and also the values of its cosine distance from the original and just putting them in a zip file. Now in this line I am just sorting results by the key, which is the cosine distance, and just printing them out. So you can see that the 11th index has the least value. So 11th here stands for drinking tea, and the next one is 5th. So 5th here stands for gulping cocktail. Here we can see that we sorted the sentences by its closeness to the original sentence and we got these indexes. So let's convert these indexes into their original sentences here. So you can see that drinking tea sentence is the closest to our original sentence. Then comes gulping cocktail. Then you have several other sentences that are generated by GPT-2. Now our goal is, if you want to find false sentences, we actually need to inverse this list. we want to keep the most dissimilar sentence at the top, then we can use that sentence as a falsified sentence to our original sentence. So here I am just reversing the list, and you can see that I have reversed the list here. So in this section we have seen that how you can take a sentence like the old woman was sitting under a tree and sipping coffee, how you can take that sentence, first use constituency parser, how you can split that sentence to just the old woman was sitting under a tree and by removing the ending noun phrase or verb phrase. Then we used our GPT-2 algorithm to generate alternate endings for that partial sentence. And once we have, let's say, 10 sentences like that which are generated by GPT-2, we then used BERT sentence similarity embeddings to sort the sentences by the most dissimilar ones at the top. This is how we can generate a falsified sentence from a given true sentence. Thanks for watching. See you in the next section.